Ready? December 1984, English high speed, 150 words per minute. Start. Madam Deputy Speaker, we are sorry we did not achieve His Excellency the Governor to give more time for the discussion. As honorable members are aware, the general discussion on supplementary estimates is a recent innovation, and previously only the Legislative Council was given an opportunity to discuss supplementary estimate. We used then to go straightway to voting on demands. I think for the last 2 or 3 years only we have introduced this procedure of having first a general discussion on the estimates, and therefore we shall be having the voting on demands tomorrow. Nevertheless, I feel we have not wrongly advised the Governor so far as the time required for general discussion goes. With regard to my honorable friend's objections to the procedure adopted at present, I think he has been raising it for the last 3 or 4 years. As required by the Constitution, we have created a contingency fund, and a bill to this end was passed during the last sitting of the House. We have not exceeded the 1 crore limit so far as expenditure is concerned, and I may assure honorable members that we are well within our limits. With regard to the other objections, that the government have no power to vary the amount of expenditure provided in the appropriation bill without the prior approval of the House, and that any proposal not contemplated in the budget estimate should receive the approval of the House before any expenditure is incurred on that proposal. I can only explain the constitutional position in defense of our action. With regard to the first objection, namely the government should not vary the figures, we should certainly come up to the House for sanction if we want to incur any extra expenditure on schemes not originally contemplated, but we are certainly implement proposals for retrenchment without coming to the Assembly for prior sanction. Suppose we want to effect a cut in the provision for travelling allowance or contingent expenditure. Suppose we want to curtail some expenditure on schemes like maintenance of roads, etc. Then the constitutional position is we need not come up to the House. Only when we want to embark on new schemes which involve extra expenditure not provided for already, we should have the approval of the people's representatives. Therefore, some time ago we took up these schemes for examination, and these could not be included in the budget estimates presented last, and after careful scrutiny they were included for the consideration of the House during this season. We have had ample time from April to June to examine the schemes in detail, and it is not as if we deliberately omitted them when the estimated were presented last. We have cut down expenditure wherever possible without abandoning the essential scheme, and we have thus effected a saving of 3 crores of rupees. In the circumstances, the criticism levelled in this connection is not of any consequences. About the other objections, namely prior approval of items, I have heard other honorable members also say that there is no use of bringing them now before the House for a sort of post-mortem examination. They contended that such a post-mortem examination was difficult to conduct. Madam, if we look at the items of expenditure contained in the memorandum, we will find that there are many items on which expenditure has been incurred under the authority of old sanction, that is the sanction given by the House when estimated were presented in February last. For example, rupees 60 lakhs was provided under irrigation in respect of grow more food schemes, and we operate on that sanction. With regard to electricity, again we expect that we may not exceed the sanction amount, and if necessary we may come forward with a supplementary demand sometime in February or March. There is another difficulty also. If we want to bring in supplementary estimates, both the houses must meet and they will have to be in session for 7 or 8 days. The assembly will take at least 3 days and the council may take a little less time. Both the houses have to pass the appropriation bill. So a tedious procedure has to be gone through if we are to have supplementary estimates. But we have now got a contingency fund and certain limits have been set beyond which we cannot go in the matter of expenditure. Previously, supplementary estimate used to cover 9 crores and 10 crores of rupees, and in the case of the government of India, it used to go up the 100 crores of rupees. The framers of our constitution wanted to limit our powers of expenditure and fixed 1 crore of rupees as the sum for which a contingency fund should be created. Therefore, it is not a question of our exceeding our limits, nor is it possible for small items of expenditure to come up before the House for sanction. There are also other items of expenditure which require immediate provision. Suppose some police force is required for a particular district. It should require sanction of the legislature. The whole procedure I have mentioned should have to be gone through as though it is a sort of maintenance budget session. Honorable members will therefore appreciate the difficulty of the government in bringing such items of expenditure before the House. After all, there are not very many items put down in the memorandum for the sanction of the legislature. There are only a few items for which sanction is required. If a few superintendents of police or a few inspectors of police are required to meet an unexpected situation, that matter cannot certainly wait for the House to give its approval. An honorable member asked whether the government enjoyed the confidence of the people and said that if they did, there was no need for such a heavy expenditure on the police. I do not think it is the correct way of measuring the government's popularity or otherwise. There are certain factors in the country, and whichever government is in office, they have to tackle certain problems, and necessarily large amounts of money have to be spent. It may be due to high cost of living or to anti-social elements.